So, with Realm Royale Season 4 reaching its end and Season 5 just around the corner, everyone is scrabbling with their double XP weekend to get their final few stages of the Battle Pass and their big pink floofy llama, ready to do it all again when the bombs of war start to drop in Season 5. But you know, Realm has gone through quite a few changes since its early conception, starting as a Fortnite clone trying to take the thunder out of little Timmy's favourite game by touting that it's just not another battle royale like PUBG, it's like Fortnite. Like how Fortnite's got building, Realm has got its own special little thing, that being the champions from Paladin's Champions of the Realm, where each champion would be a different class and have their own different weapons and abilities. A good idea, but as the cast grew and some were very not human models, like a motherfucking dragon who is the best because he is a dragon, and I am not totally saying that because I'm biased or anything and I want Drogo Senpai to notice me or because I am a dragon. It was just not really that viable to try and make 40 different classes anymore. So the whole champions idea was scrapped, but not the classes, cutting the roster down to its 4 base classes of damage, healer, flank, and what's the other one? Damage, healer, flank, and tank. And then people said, but what's the point? Because everybody can pick up a healing item, so it makes healer redundant. So it was now changed to what we see today: warrior, hunter, mage, assassin. What? There's still one blacked out on the far right. Nah, you're seeing things. There was never 5 classes. Now, I have been in and out of Realm across its alpha, beta, and all the seasons, and I've watched the changes unfold, most of them for the better, like how most class weapons have no bloom. Where you aim is where you shoot, and, you know, that's great, unlike other games where the bullets just fly all over the place and have obnoxious bloom. I don't know which one I'm talking about. And of course, every change they made has been well received. There was never anything that was objectively the biggest fuck up in history. Oh God, why? Oh sweet Jesus, why did you add this? Oh God, what are you doing? Like, I don't know, just pulling one out of the blue here, adding a broken, overpowered 1000 health mech that fires a barrage of missiles and a shotgun and essentially ruined the main game and made 1 million people just stop playing it.
Bro, why? 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 Like, I don't understand why this is a thing! He has 1 kill. They're teaming in solos.
I'm dead. I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
I fucking hate everything about these fucking mechs. They can go fuck themselves. If Epic Games is watching my stream, go fuck yourself until you take these out of the game, because they don't fucking do anything positive. They're all negative.
This kid's so trash.
Fuck yourself, dude.
Oh, such bad players, dude. I literally killed fucking their whole team.
We had 17 already, or like something like that. Or...
I had 6. So I had 11.
We had 20 already. We had 20.
20 was 50 left. The Turner owns a White Claw.
You fucking crashed.
I
blew up a mech and my game fucking crashed. I had like 12 kills, dude.
Holy shit, dude.
And by the way, yes, there's a little extra, that was a video from YouTube, because I can't be asked to go record my own video for fucking Fortnite with the mechs, because I can't deal with them anymore. Like, I've already dealt with them. I've already had my fair share of all the mech bullshit. Oh, and by the way, that last clip, just that bit right there where they're teaming, that's actually not illegal. You know, while teaming is supposed to be against the terms of service, it's not with the mech. It's not with the mech because you can't control the second person getting in that mech. Remember, it's got 2 seats. You can't control a second person jumping in that mech. So if a second person just so happens to jump in, you can't control that. So it's actually not against the rules to team with a mech. Man, what a great fucking decision, Epic. Good fucking decision. It's why you drive people to just cock all the clickies. They've never done anything like that. And if there ever was anything negative, it was never vaulted. It was only ever nerfed, and the devs and the community would talk to each other about it, because normally all of the things that are brought out is well tested by the devs and then the community on the public test servers. But if there was a problem like the Assassin's original Shredder and Toxicology skill, rather than just instantly vaulting it, the devs would ask, why is it bad? What is wrong? How do you feel about this? And the players would tell them, and the players and the devs would work together to fix the issue, and it feels a lot nicer than the scattershot approach. Across its lifetime, I've played a good amount of hours of Realm in all of its various incarnations, and I've got some decent skill in the game. I'm not going to say I'm the best, but I've got good enough to the point where I can get victories, and I've also got all the achievements in game, including the hardest ones like killing 11 players in one match, or chickening somebody from 800 feet away. Well, all except 2? 2 secret ones? I mean, I never really look at the secret achievements. Let's have a click of it. Get an elimination as the engineer. 50 eliminations as the engineer. Huh. But I don't see... No. Did they pull a Fortnite? Where it was too much work to fix and they just said fuck it and vaulted him? Oh no. And what of the people that never got the achievement? Are they forever screwed? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This won't do. This won't do at all. So as you can guess from the video title and my little build up, we are talking about the engineer.
I'm an engineer.
No, not that one. So a quick brief history after the whole champions thing was dropped for just the classes. The engineer was the 5th class and he was fun, and a lot of people liked him, and he had some fun abilities like the rocket boots for some extra verticality. Keep that word in mind, it's going to be recurrent through the video. And the infamous jetpack at one point. Then Realm removed all classes entirely for a brief stupid moment, and everybody told them it was a stupid idea. So they said that the classes would be coming back, but better, and here they are, and to this day they have been good and better. But only 4 of the 5 made it back. The engineer...
I'm an engineer.
No, not that one, was vaulted, with balance being cited as the key issue, with the rocket boots being too OP due to the map being very flat and giving the engineer a lot of verticality. He could forge things like the golden slug and the golden potion launcher, some of, if not the strongest weapons in the game, and his barricade at the time was like Fortnite in the sense that he was the only one that could build, which kind of give him a distinct advantage and the barrier had so much health and stayed up for so long at that point that he was just too good, as well as the talents that only made his weapons and abilities stronger. However, it was mainly the talents that made things like the Golden Slug even better than it already was, so they vaulted him, but all of the items would remain in the game, just not craftable. Some of the common items today, like the fire bomb, would be in all rarities from all forms of chest, same for the healing totem. But his other more overpowered items like the potion launcher, the golden slug, the barrier, the turret, both the barrier and the turret now nerfed, would only be available from loot goblins or in the supply chests that drop in periodically. No rockets on the map though, because it's too flat. No rocket boots. The map's still too flat. The map still has no verticality, so no rocket boots. You're not getting them back. So while he's gone, his base parts are still around, and after that, nothing. The Battle Pass was introduced with the dinosaur-themed Battle Pass of Season 1, and from there, the hands of time marched forever onwards. Pirates vs Ninjas of Season 2, the futuristic theme of Season 3, the Angels and Demons of Season 4, and now, within a few days, the soon-to-be War Times of Season 5. All four of our champions basking in the glory of Crown Royales and Battle Pass loot, and of course, the coveted costumes that everybody wants, because, you know, we all like to be show-offs, and we all want to show off, especially with the Huntress that got the best skin of a full Anthro Fox lady with some amazing little details, like the big floofy tail swishing back and forth as she walks. Just that extra polish that really shows they put extra effort into that one. But while all our champions bask in crowns and costumes, there he sits, alone in the vault, forever chained, forever default, forever alone. But no more! I deem no more high res. I deem no more heroic leap. No more shall these chains bind you. It's time to break these chains. Time to break the seal and set him free. We have a crack team of anime weebs that will Naruto run across grassland, desert, ice, and ocean. Okay, maybe not ocean. To distract the guards posted outside of the vault where our prisoner is being held. They will Naruto run so fast, no bullet will hit them. And once the base is defenseless, I will walk right through the front door of the vault, and I will look High-Res's gatekeeper square in the eye and present this video of logic and reason as why it is time to bring him home, set him free, because I am the legendary purple dragon of your childhood. I am the greatest dragon in all of gaming, and as such, I know what is best. After all, like White Diamond, I see the flaws with the engineer that you instilled into him, and I know the best way to remove them flaws.
There we are. I've removed their flaws. Now there is nothing to hinder my white light from sparkling through them. I'd rather not spread my uninhibited self so thin, you know, but you've made it absolutely necessary. Now the impurities you've encouraged in them are gone. Now they are brilliant. Now they are perfect. Now they are me.
So, with that showman style intro, let's just jump right into it and show how times have changed enough that the engineer can be freed and returned to the game. But before the logistics, we first need to set the stage of how he can be freed. Because, you know, you could unceremoniously just stick him back onto the end like... But come on, give the man some dignity. You ripped him out and locked him away with no dignity. You could at the very least give him the hero's welcome that he deserves. Let him bask and enjoy being re-added to the game in an exciting way. And I know exactly how.
I'm an engineer. That means I solve problems. Not problems like what is beauty, because that would fall within the purview of your conundrums of philosophy.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, flip.
Wait, don't tune out. I swear this has a purpose. So, yeah, to spin this, we are going to have to slide over to Fortnite for a moment, as Fortnite has one really good thing that they do, which keeps things interesting. It has a constant narrative, however loose. Season 3, a meteor is seen in the sky, and at the end, BANG! It destroys Dusty Depot and creates a whole new area. Season 4, inside the meteor was a traveller from another world. He made a rocket, and at the end of Season 4, it launched. Oh god! Oh, it's gonna hit a big area! Oh shit, look at it go! And across all these events, what happened? Like a Christmas miracle in no man's land in World War II, it was at that moment all the violence, all the fighting stopped. Allies and enemies all playing football together, cheering and singing. I know some of you might hate Fortnite, especially now with things like the Max! But keep this in mind, it got popular somehow, and aside from just being a good game back then, this was it. Everyone getting together for one day a season, all sitting around and emoting and having fun together as we watched the countdown hit 0 to see what crazy little thing would happen, to more importantly see what area was going to go all together for a new area, or what area would change.
Look at everybody just circling around it.
Well, people are breaking in behind us.
Yeah, they just wanna watch.
Yeah, they're helping out here. This guy's got a gun, so I'm a bit conscious of what he's going to do.
Just let him do his own thing, mate. Oh shit, it's leaking. It's leaking shit.
Yeah, it is.
I swear, it's fucking dodgy.
Mate.
There's the guy with a gun right there.
Fighting zombie.
Oh!
Oh, what's the sound?
It's gone. It's dropped something into the portal.
Then of course it became mainstream and they started adding a bunch of shit like the mechs, and it was all ruined. But season 2 to 5 with the meteor, rocket and cube, and not really any stupid shit like the mechs, they were really the best days of the game. And as cliche as this sounds, like, if you missed out, you really did miss out on a magical time when the game was really good. Nowadays, there's no fucking way in hell I could recommend Fortnite. It's gone to shit, it's garbage. But if you said to me in season 2, 3, 4, should I get Fortnite? I could have made you a good case. But back to the events. It's a big deal. It's teased all throughout a season, with the final show being on the last day, or to give as many people a chance as possible to watch it live, the final Saturday night of the Battle Pass, 9 PM UK, 3 PM American, I think American Central, so that's like 2 PM Eastern, 4 PM Western. And again, it was great for things like the rocket and the cube, everyone just memeing and emoting, and then when the countdown hit 0, everyone stopped. Enemies side by side, standing together in harmony, watching the excitement. This is what I propose for the end of Season 5 to bring the engineer back. So first, we need an area where this is going to take place, and it needs to have a few requirements. It has to meet at least one, only one, but if it has multiple, that's great. Number 1, It has to be an area that no one hardly ever goes. Number 2, it's a barren wasteland with nothing in it, like it's just a dead zone of the map where something could be added. Or number 3, the circle never ever ever ends there, because even the storm itself, like the physical manifestation of the storm, hates that area. So we're pulling up our map here, and we have 4 possible locations. Number 1, Goblin Gulch, and these dinosaur bones in top left. Goblin is one of them areas that is okay as a last ditch resort. Like, if that's where the circle's going, your team's down, a Reset Goblin is safe because no one ever hardly goes to Goblin unless they are literally forced there due to circumstance. It also has very few chests. It's a very, very basic setup. By this I mean unlike somewhere like Crossing with lots of buildings and cover and little windows to peek out of and shoot, or Guntown with its now remade verticality. It's just one straight line with very little cover, and if you're in that valley, you're dead, as the high cliffs just rain fire down on you. It has too much verticality, so you're either on top of the cliffs and you're fine, or you're in the cliffs or you're in the valley and you're dead. But most importantly, no one ever drops there. As quick gameplay lesson for all of you that don't play the game, unlike Fortnite, where you can drop as far away from everybody as possible and find all the golden scars and chug jugs that you will ever need, in Realm you have to drop next to people, as in order to get your class specific shit, you know, the good shit, you need to forge. To forge you need shards. Shards are gained by opening chests and breaking useless items down into their component parts, which most of the time will be a grey common, which gives you 5 shards apiece. And when your class specific good shit costs 90, 5, 10, 15, 20, it's impossible. That's not viable. That is not going to be a viable strategy. So your biggest way of getting your shards is killing someone. On death, an opponent will drop that fat stack of 50 shards, and if you have the talent Bok Books on you, another 25 shards will drop from eliminating a chicken. Every person always starts with their grey default movement ability, which, as we just said, grey abilities disenchant for 5 shards. And then, assuming they also grabbed a chest in order to fight you, they will have another 2 items, be it 2 guns, 2 abilities, a gun and an ability. So if we add all that up, 50 for the kill, 25 for Bok Books, that's 75, 5 for their default movement ability, that's 80, and the 2 items they got out of the chest to fight you with, that's 90. So one single person has now just given you one of your class-specific items from the Forge, opposed to opening a million chests and not getting anywhere. So when I say that people need to drop there, with Goblin Gulch for example, nobody drops at Goblin Gulch, so there is literally no point in going there, because if you're not dropping into tilted towers, if you're not dropping into big fat streamer areas or big chunky areas full of people, you're gonna get beat. So with Goblin, all the points I mentioned, nobody goes there. It has very few chests to even get shards. It's not a good area because it's not got any verticality or any complexness to it like Crossing. But the most important thing, nobody ever goes there. The second of our 4 areas is a quick one. That is Underpass. Back in time, Underpass was a bloodbath. There was a forge in there. Nice. However, this did not go as planned, as unlike Goblin, Underpass is a mineshaft, i.e. there is no cover and nowhere to escape to. So whoever got the gun first was rolling in shards, as they just had to point the gun barrel down the shaft, pull the trigger, and oh look, after you have genocided 60% of the players on the map, there is a handy forge right next to you to spend your credits on, and you don't even have to leave the safety of the mine shaft. And if anybody comes in to challenge you, well, you just point the gun barrel down the shaft again, and there's some more genocide and some tasty shards. So, obviously, the forge was removed. However, this had the inverse effect, as with no forge, there is no reason to go there anymore, so no one ever drops there. It's a nice shortcut from crossing to the ice area, depending on where the circle's going, but really, now it serves no purpose, and it just sits there, gathering dust. Now, obviously, they can't re-add the forge, lest we see and also during the post-editing, because I realised the similarity in names, I guess you could say it's the Underpass Genocide Run. Yeah, but a dead and abandoned area, right for change, it's perfect for our needs. Third, a big and a double one, the entire left side of the swamp. The swamp has seen quite a few changes. Lost Forge getting a complete overhaul, and the same as Fungle, both being bigger, grander, having more chests, more verticality, and being more appealing places to drop. Forbidden Swamp and Jaguar Claws, on the other hand, and this dead zone in the middle of the two, yeah, no, same problem as Goblin Gulch. There are no chests, it's pretty much a flat area with not really any verticality, and because of this, no players drop there, and as we discussed, no players, no shards, none of that good shit. And lastly, there is Sentinel. Ew, Sentinel. An area that has so much disdain that not only do no people drop there ever, but also not a single bot drops there, but also, the biggest one, even the very storm itself will never ever put a ring on Sentinel. Play as many games as you want, there will never ever be a ring in Sentinel. Sure, the first and maybe even the second ring might be in Sentinel, because, you know, they're big, they're huge rings that take up the majority of the map. But the third ring onwards, you will never, ever, I guarantee 100%, you will never, ever see a third ring onwards in Sentinel. No players like it, no AI likes it, and even the physical embodiment of the storm hates it. Here's a little preview. Okay, so this one is a little bit different because, as you've seen in the video, I normally just zoom into the area, make a nice transition, but for Sentinel, this is a special one. We had to show it. So we're in the boat, and as you can see, everybody's dropping crossing right now. You can see them all jumping out. We are, of course, going Sentinel, and the circle is in Sentinel. As I mentioned previously, you'll see a first, maybe even a second circle in Sentinel. You'll never see a third circle though, because no one likes Sentinel. No one will ever drop here. Not even an AI will drop here. And what is supposed to happen is at least one bot is supposed to drop in a named location to give you a kill so that you've got some shards to forge. But even the bots won't go to Sentinel. As you can see, I am now dropping down to Sentinel. We can see the last of the players and the last of the bots right there. They're looking like they're going to fall autumn. We're kind of keeping track of them. We're going down, but they're not gliding over this way to Sentinel. And we can see the entire of Sentinel here. Not a single bot has dropped. No one's dropped. It's completely empty. And then this is it. This is Sentinel, which I really don't get why people hate it that much. Like, it's what people want. You know, a lot of people, especially with the changes to the Lost Forge, Guntown, Fungle, with the revamps where it's got a lot more verticality, multiple floors. All these houses and the Forge in Sentinel all have a minimum of 2 stories. They're either 1 or 2 stories high, so they've got that verticality. There's lots of buildings around here, like Crossing. Lots of little windows to peek and poke from. So, like, it's basically what everybody wants. It's why Crossing's so popular. It's pretty much just a clone of Crossing, except on the south end of the map. Like, what I'm going to assume is the theory is that if the circle's ending up north, you would go to Crossing, and me zooming in there, it's also got that big watchtower on the hill that you can get a lot of snipes from. But my theory is, like, if the circle was ending in the north, you'd go Crossing, and if it was ending in the south, you'd go here, because they are roughly the same. They are a big stronghold with a wall around them. They've got a lot of verticality, a lot of windows to poke from, a lot of areas to hide. It's got that little tower on the hill to snipe from. So it's got a lot of chests. That's another thing. You can see me running around into the different areas, and it's got a lot of chests to get a lot of guns. So it seems like it'd be an area that everybody wants, but for whatever reason, everybody hates this, and because of this hate, Hi-Rez and Heroic Leap Games have just programmed it so not a single bot will drop here, nor will a single circle end here. Like, you can see me running around the entirety of Sentinel. Like, I am looking for chests. I am actively looking for even a single bot, because that's how the game technically should work. There should be a minimum of 1 bot here somewhere in one of these buildings, but no. Even bots hate this place. And as you just saw from the notification there, there's only 50 people left. Half the people are already dead, and despite the first circle passing through Sentinel, no one's come here yet. Like, with the storm soon about to close in, you'd think that at least 1 person, minimum, would pass through here, to even if it was only for the most basic need to forge a couple of extra armor potions. You would think at least minimum 1 person would come and pass through here, because this is where the first circle is. But no one. Found a rune there and a crossbow. That was a lucky find. And as I'm walking around, this is just something that I noticed during my walk around. But as I'm walking around this area and looking at, like, all the different buildings, because when I'm playing, I'm usually playing in a squad or a duo with Blame, and he's got the same negative connotation as Sentinel. Ooh, Sentinel. No one likes to go to Sentinel, so obviously we don't drop there. And even when I'm in random squads with random people, nobody ever picks Sentinel. So now that I'm just kind of dicking around, recording, this is my first real-time exploring Sentinel. Like, I get to go at my own pace. I don't care if I win. I could get shot dead and, oh, whatever, I got shot dead, because I was never aiming to win. I was just aiming to record this footage. But walking around Sentinel, I'm like, why do people hate this? Like, I actually like having a good, decent look at this area. Like, just here, for example, this tower on the edge of the ocean, I was like, if somebody's on that hill, they throw a blast arrow for knockback or a poppy bomb, you're going right in that ocean. That's an insta-kill for somebody if they catch you there. Like, that's a good position for somebody to be in. And then there's this little door here that leads out into the back door into this ocean. An easy escape from the area if things are going wrong. So this is like my real first, like, in-depth walk around Sentinel. And I'm like, damn, I actually really don't know why people hate this place, but obviously they do. And as I say, because it's abandoned by the players, that means that Hi-Rez and Heroic Leap have made sure that the bots abandon it, and not a single bot will land here nor pass through here, and the circle will never end here. There'll never be a ring that ends on Sentinel, because it's got the plague apparently, which is a bit weird for me, a little bit sad as well, because it does look like a good area that, to be honest, doesn't need that much of a rework. But yeah, I mean, at this point we could cut back. I'm just kind of wasting time, but I want to show you how bad it really gets with the fact that the circle is literally right on the edge of Sentinel, and minimum at least one person should come through and use this forge about now, because the circle is all but closed in. We're about to go to the second circle. Somebody, anybody, should be passing through the Seaside Graveyard to Autumn Fields, because Sentinel is right in between Seaside Graveyard and Autumn Fields, which is where the next circle will go, by the way. So anybody at Seaside Graveyard technically should pass through here, even if it's just to forge armor potions, and they don't. They just don't. The forge has never been lit, not even a bot's using that forge, and there is only 25 people left. We have literally outlived 75 people by just dicking around in Sentinel, because nobody wants to come here, not even to potentially find any bots. And this number's only going to get lower till the ending point where we have to leave Sentinel, and you'll see the final number when we leave. But the circle's in, and there you go. As you can see, the manifestation of the storm itself. You Sentinel, don't you dare put that circle on Sentinel. You will never ever see a circle that ends at Sentinel. So, ripperoonie, rest in pepperonis. So again, there's 20 players remaining now. We have outlived 80% of the people just dicking around. Like, there has been no bots to contest us when we landed. There's been no bots passing through to contest us. There's been no human players from Seaside Graveyard coming through to contest, even to just forge an armor potion. And with all these shards now, I was like, okay, I'll forge a weapon. I will purposefully start the forge, make the noise, make the smoke, and I'll sit here, I'll wait. And I just kind of come out to show you the forge on, but it's like, I'll sit in here and I'll wait, because you look at this when I turn round. You can hear that. You can see that smoke rising. Surely somebody passing through from Seaside Graveyard would see that smoke rising and be like, okay, I want to go in there and contest whatever is being forged, because they could be forging something really good and I could potentially steal whatever they're forging. They could just also be forging armor potions, but I could contest that. I could steal those armor potions. I could steal the weapon. So, and because I can see it on, I'm going to contest, but nobody ever did. Nobody ever did. There is 12 people left. We are literally about to have outlived 90% of the people dicking around in Sentinel, because it is just that much of an unloved place, and that is the final number where it ends. So I'm just going to grab my armor potions. Obviously the storm's about to come in, and then we will end this side clip. But this was just a demonstration of how bad Sentinel is, just how unloved and forlorn it is, just sitting here gathering dust, left to die. And maybe because Jade is just north, I left Sentinel only the marginalist tiny bit, because I'm like, alright, well, nobody wants to come into the castle walls because this is clearly got the plague. But this hill right here, just like right on the edge, that's got a full view of Jade and a full view of Autumn, like this one right here, I can see the Jade road right there, I can see Autumn there, I can see the bamboo forest there. Like, I have full cover of all these hills. Surely I'll see somebody coming out the south side of Jade to Autumn, because the circle's going to Autumn. Nope, that everybody's gone out of the north side of Jade to Fungal Forest. So that's it. And as you can see, 10 players remain. That's the end. We outlived 90% of the entire map by just dicking around in Sentinel. We're not going to win, and we don't win. That's why I'm going to cut it. We're not going to win, obviously, but it just kind of shows that Sentinel, even Goblin Gulch, has its uses. Goblin Gulch has its uses, but could be reworked. Underpass has its usefulness of being a shortcut between Crossing and the Ice Kingdom, depending on where the circle goes. It has a use. Even Jaguar Falls and the Swamp have their use. It is terrible use. It's an awful place that needs reworking, but they all serve a minor, tiny purpose as maybe a quick res, or maybe, you know, just something tangential, but Sentinel doesn't even have the luxury of that purpose, so yeah, that's bad. And there's only 7 people left. So if you want, we outlive 93% of the population. So yeah, that's back to main video. Oof, 90% of the players dead. And even though it was in the first circle, not even a single bot went there. Not even a single bot passed through. Feels bad, man. Which, as I said in the video, is odd, as it has plenty of chests like Crossing. Like Crossing, it has many buildings and windows to peek and poke from. Most of the buildings, including the Forge, have a second floor for the verticality that everybody likes. It's close to a really popular area of Jade, just north. So why it stands abandoned is beyond me. But abandoned it is, and so we will add it to the list. So, 4 areas that lay dead. 4 areas to pick from for our hypothetical event. But what fits most? Well,
I'm an engineer.
Exactly, he's an engineer, and he builds things. And what do we build things out of? Shards. What are shards? Crystals. Where'd you get crystals? Mines. So, as much as I really hate Swamp, and I would really like to see them do something with Swamp and Jaguar Claws, it doesn't fit our purpose, so we are going to have to skip it, as well as Sentinel. But Sentinel will not be forgotten. We are going to use Sentinel. But for now, that leaves Underpass and Goblin. Both mines. Both have crystals. But for this event, we are going for Goblin, as Underpass for now is fine. It's a nice shortcut between the Ice Kingdom and Crossing. But with Goblin, we also have these bones just to the left and north. So we have a really big area to play with. We have got much more room if we want to create something big, which we do. So, what is the event going to be, and how are we going to spin our forgotten 5th champion into coming back? Well, first we are going to give him a bit of a backstory as to where he went and where he currently is. Taking an unused piece of Undertale and a piece of Spyro the Eternal Night, because I'm a narcissist, no, but in all seriousness it actually will really work. During the olden times of the realm, and we're talking like Alpha and Beta when he was in. During the old times of the realm, the engineer built many tools to assist the champions of the realm, finding new creative ways to harness the power and magic of the crystals. Sometimes for mundane things like lamps or lights, street lights, you know, the typical stuff. Other times for weapons of war, like the things the champions of the realm use. However, it was said that he was working on something big, but it required special crystals, imbued with the strongest magic that could only be found deep within the mines, very deep. And like Dr. Gaster, he met an untimely accident, causing him to fall far deeper than what he should have fell, falling down into the lowest depths of the old mine, where he died.
Everyone died. The end.
That didn't help at all.
Or at least, so we thought, as in order to play as him, he needs to be alive. So he fell, but using his rocket boots, he did survive. But in using his rocket boots and activating them, he caused the cave to become unstable. A cave-in, however. So that's not good. He's about to die from a cave-in. Don't worry though, because the part of the cave that was caving in is where the crystals are forming. If you do real life geology, crystals are made from lava heating up a rock and then solidifying. So right now, the cave is caving in and we have a pool of magic molten crystal filling up the room. He's panicking. He activates his ultimate ability, the dome shield. But rather than just it hold out, something else happens. The magic, because remember the crystals are magic, the magic within the molten crystal reacts to the magic of the dome shield, as remember, all weapons are made with the magic crystals. So the magic liquid crystal flooded over the dome shield, but then somehow merged with it and started seeping through the dome shield where he was. But it was no longer hot, or at least it didn't burn him. It was not burning him, but it was still flooding in, raising up his waist, his shoulders, his neck, and it was like quick drying cement. He couldn't move, and before he could react, it was full. And like myself, when Gaul's mountain collapsed and caved in all around, there he has sat, frozen in time, in his ageless crystal, at the depths of the goblin mineshaft, waiting for a hunter to awaken him. Get it? Because hunter, he's a hunter, and her class is hunter, ha! But one does not simply get to the depths of the mineshaft, no. After all, like Fortnite when they change an area, this change also needs to be viable to play in that area. So if we had mineshaft, we would have the underpass forge genocide problem all over again. Where you just shoot down the shaft and kill people. So, we're going to need to simplify the path, make the path a lot more viable. And this is where we will see Goblin change, and this is where we will also see Sentinel come into play. You see, Crossing is the main city of this island. It is the Tilted Towers of Realm. Everybody goes there. All the streamers like to flex there. And like Fort, there is a second major city that is less popular and is kind of the rival. In Fort, it was Retail Row. Retail Row is still nice, but why would you go see Baby Brother Retail Row when we have Big Brother Tilted Towers, son? Why would we go to Little Baby Brother Sentinel when we've got Big Brother Crossing, son? So that's going to be our stage setter, and now that you know where he is and where he's trapped, let's set the stage for how he's going to come back. So Crossing is popular, and the leaders of Sentinel are not happy. They are sick of playing second fiddle to Crossing, and this season being about war, Sentinel is going to war with Crossing. Across the course of this season, Sentinel will be a lot more militarized. A lot of the homes there, day by day, are going to get boarded up. the roof of the forge removed. Military supplies will be stockpiled in a few houses, so Sentinel will become quite chest rich to make it more of a reason to go there. And across the course of this season, in the forge, scaffolding will be erected and a missile constructed. As if Sentinel can't win, then neither can Crossing, as the hate-filled king of Sentinel is going to wipe Crossing off the map, as with the tides of war comes the new discovery of nuclear power, and thus a nuclear missile, which might even be a chance to add Drogos' missile launcher, but that's another story for another day. And 1 week before the end of Season 5, the missile will be complete and the countdown will be on. It is also at this point Sentinel will be completely blocked off from any normal entry, with the only way in being a mage to fly over the walls so that nobody can tamper with the nuke. 24 hours before liftoff. Social media will be on the ball to come watch the event and advertising for everybody to not kill each other so, everybody can watch it. And also advising people to find a remote spot on the map to watch the event from. Maybe a nice tall place, like, I don't know, underpass. 10 minutes before launch, everyone gets into the game, and the storm is switched off. The timer disappears, as we need to make sure that the storm doesn't interrupt the event. The countdown is on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We see fire and a huge boom coming from Sentinel. The nuke rises up into the sky. It flies high above the map and turns ever so slowly horizontal. And then, at its peak, it turns downwards. We see the laser focusing in on Crossing. Popular no more, as in mere moments' time there will be no Crossing. The nuke starts its descent. However, a cannonball from right field from behind Underpass Mountain. A direct hit. Not enough to destroy the nuke, but knock it off course. Aiming from straight down to left. And what is left of Crossing? Yes, Goblin. Impact. Goblin and the surrounding area is no more. And what we are left with at the end of Season 5 and the beginning of Season 6 is a giant crater of crystal and twisted metal and debris. And there, at the lowest point of the crater, in the very centre, the crystal, frozen in time, now unearthed, as all the higher layers have been vaporized by the nukes. And thus, Season 5 comes to its end. With a side note that the cannonball that you saw came from Ice Haven, as the alliance of the Ice Kingdom would not sit by and let their neighbour die. So if you were to check the top of Ice Haven across Season 5, you would see the cannon being built. Season 6, the aftermath. With Season 6, we start out our second event to prepare not only our new area, but the arrival or the re-arrival of the engineer. Across Season 6, things will mostly remain static. Ice Haven's cannon will now remain to protect from future threats that may come. Crossing will finish its walls, so you can no longer jump the wall where it's broken. They will all be fully fixed and fully solidified, so the only way you will be able to get into Crossing is landing there or going through the 4 main gates, as they are amping up defense because of the recent attack. But what of Goblin Gulch, the nuke site, the main area? Well, it'll be called just something placeholdery for now, Goblin Crater, as that's all it is. It's nothing more than a crater for now. But Season 6 will focus on this crater, and across the course of Season 6, building materials will arrive at the centre of the crater. Small tents will go up around our crystallised hero, and one big building will be built around him. As the days roll on, he will be fully dug up, so you can see him being dug up day by day until you can see his whole body. 2 giant drills will be constructed on the top of this building. Keep in mind that off screen the devs are working on the new area, this is just a temporary area. By the end of Season 6, we will have a set of benches all lined up around the edge of the crater, all looking at the centre, at the big building with the 2 drills on top, with the final event being the crystallised hero raised to the top of the building, standing in between the 2 drills. Once again, the storm would be disabled on all instances of the game for 10 minutes or 10 minutes before, to allow everyone to get into place and to not have the storm interfere with the event. Once again, a countdown, the final seconds of the event when everyone is seated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The drills start up and they start to drill at the crystal. Sparks flying everywhere, crystal fragments breaking off, lights and runes coming out due to the magic sealed within the crystals. As it gets closer and closer to its final breaking point, beams of blinding light and runes shoot out of the crystal. There is a huge flash and...
Everyone died. The end.
No, that's not a joke. Literally, everyone will die and the server will go offline for an update. But you're not going to get the update right away. As remember, this is a public stunt. It's a big event to bring the 5th hero and this big area that we are planning. A media post would be tweeted out, would go up, saying that Realm would be offline for an entire week. Okay, so this is a little bit of post commentary. If you can't guess from the things that you've seen, like me going into Sentinel, getting a load of footage of the different areas like Goblin Gulch, Underpass, then leveling the battle pass up to 25 to get the missile and launch the missile, and then go into Fortnite and build each segment of the crater or the mock-up version of the crater, as well as the building that you are going to see in the next section. This was recorded and edited over the process of a couple of weeks. Like, it wasn't just done in a day. Even at the start I said Season 5 is just about to come out, and we're already into Season 5. We're about 10 days into Season 5, so you can probably guess this took way more time than what you're thinking, because Fortnite obviously just had an event where it was down for 2 days with the black hole.
Hello, Ed boys. Many doors, yes? Too much for couch potato Ed boys like yourself.
Yeah. You fucked up, Ed boy! You screwed up, Ed boy! You didn't predict that, did you, Spyro? No, Rolf. I did not predict that they would also shut their entire servers down for 2 days, because I was obviously thinking, like, what you're about to hear. I was thinking, like, oh, well, we'll have it where it's shut down, but then the engineer is going to, you know, be building it off screen, and it takes a week for him to build the new area, and it'd be this big grand reveal. But now, after seeing the Fortnite black hole, I don't know. I mean, if you give people updates daily, like if you writ a diary for the engineer, I guess that could work. But like, after the Fortnite blackout, I don't know whether this second bit's a good idea. So that's just a little bit of like post-commentary to say that, yeah, I'm aware of it now, but at the time of the original recording, nobody had any idea that that was going to happen. So at time of original recording, I was like, oh yeah, this is a great idea. And now the Fortnite blackout's been like, ah. But I mean, the point, everything else though, like the missile destroying the mine shaft to find the engineer's crystal, and then the engineer being dug up and then by the end of the season drilled into, all that other stuff, that's still great and that still stands. And the area that I've made a mock-up of, that's a great area in my opinion. I put a lot of work into that, so that part still stands as well. Just like the server's going down for X amount of days after the Fortnite blackout. Maybe not that part, but I think you'll like the area though. So that's my post commentary, and I'll let you get back to the video. But nothing more than that. To give everybody a week to speculate. All anybody knows right now is that the engineer is coming back. But what's his kit? He can't still forge the golden slug. Surely that's too OP. What of the nuke site? Is that going to change from a single drill? 7 whole days of speculation, and 7 whole days of the devs just keeping quiet and putting the final touches on what's about to come. Day 7, the servers go back online, and with it comes Season 7. Like how a foxy lady is our current load screen. As we load into Season 7, we would be greeted to the new look of the engineer as, you know, this one's a bit shit and might need a bit of a redesign, especially for what awaits us. But we are going to be greeted to our new engineer, and in the background, a location we have not seen. We do the normal first thing, we check his mastery tree and the talents, and something I'll move into when we show why he is still viable, why he can now come back and not be overpowered. Then we check the battle pass, and to celebrate the engineer coming back, Season 7 is steampunk themed, old-timey princess dresses and such, mixed with things like cogs and metal frames. The realm's industrial age has begun. But what of the final level? What of that grand prize? Well, of course, how can it not be for our new champion? We have recently just reintroduced him. We made a whole big deal about bringing the engineer back. So, of course the engineer would get the tier 50 grand prize. And we already have it in Paladins, in the form of Steampunk Torvald. A big leather coat adorned with cogs and pipes, a steam-powered backpack, a big top hat. It would be a perfect final reward and fit our new inventor. Why? Well, let's finish off with why the server was down for a week and what became of Goblin Gulch. Loading into the game, we would see what was hidden. The crater is now gone, and what stands in its place is a big circular city called the Steampunk Stronghold. For the circular pattern, imagine the outer wall, and only the outer wall, of Midgar from Final Fantasy VII. So it's this huge towering metal wall, you know, made of scrap metal because of the time period, and it goes round the entire village and centerpiece as a circle. With every so often along the circle there are big smokestacks bellowing out magical runic smoke from the crystals being used to power the stronghold. As for the inside of the stronghold, it would be something more akin to Cortex Castle from Crash Bandicoot 1, or the entire island from Crash Bandicoot 1, the last island, with the centerpiece being the engineer's base of operation. A huge towering stone castle that, like Guntown or Fungle's main building, would consist of several floors of loot and the forge, but like Cortex Castle, the main centerpiece would be that some of the stone would be replaced by metal, and there would be big extra main metal structures that have been bolted onto the stone parts of the castle, with things like telescopes coming out and other pipes and things to show that this is a hybrid city of the old and the new, the classic old and stone mixed with the newer metal contraptions, again, like telescopes, or as I made here, these little satellite dishes, with all of the buildings surrounding the main castle following the same hybrid look of classic stone and wood mashed together with metal to make it a unique area of the map, as some of the buildings, to keep this old time, would have 2, maybe 3 floors, so it's no longer what's an old area that we don't really use anymore. It's no longer one of these smaller areas like Valley. It's got more multiple floors and more verticality, like the reworks to Lost Forge, Fungal Jungle and Guntown, to keep this idea in mind, and much like Sentinel and Crossing, being that it is now a major base of operation with multiple houses that have multiple floors, there are many windows and holes to peek and poke from, so that nobody knows where you are. You might be able to get one of those cheeky sniper shots, with all of the insides again following the same motif of old-time real runic stones and pillars with all the runes carved in, combined with metal and machine to fit the engineer's steampunk hybrid playstyle and the hybridization of the area. I did have a little preview, but I ran into a bit of a problem, so here's that problem. So here's what we got. Now, I didn't want to do the whole thing as described like I did in the previous section. However, I mean, just look at that memory used. Oof, that's 90,000 out of 100,000 because of the big thing over there. Because, yeah, I described all of the, all of the reactors going around the edge. Like, there's a wall, there's one, and it's like, hey, this one would go here, link to this one, go around there, link to this one. However, to get the magic fire effect, that costs a lot of points. That costs an incredible amount of points. And I get why. It's supposed to be like the big centerpiece. So if you wanted to say, hey, let's put one of these in every single stack, no go, dude, no go. And then like with the castle, again, from what I described in the video, old stonework combined with some metal, like here where you've got the stonework being turned into metal, big metal structures, stonework being turned into metal once again, but it's just the fact that, yeah, to get magic fire costs a lot. So everything I described, where it's like old world mixed with a bit of steampunk metal, like this thing right here where the roof is just half metal, half not, and the castle's half metal, half not. Just use your imagination, because we can't make an entire village. We're already at 10,000. We can't make an entire village. If I was like, hey, let's go get a house. Let's go get another house that we can convert. Where's a house? Quickly, give me a house that is not actually made of metal, please. I don't know where they are. Where are they? There they are. So if we were to take a house, oh look, we can't even throw it. We do not even have the ability to throw it because it costs too much. Because I wanted to put magic fire in, just to at least give you an idea of what the magic fire would look like. So Oops, that's the thing. So just use what I described as your imagination, where it would all be actually 100% done, but we can't because of that. Back to the main video. Yeah, I was gonna make it all, I was gonna show it all, but I ran out of building space. And I didn't want to, because I could have made it in Minecraft. This is just one extra thing that I should have said. I could have made it in Minecraft, like, because you've got unlimited space, but Minecraft is a little bit more blocky and you don't really get that imagination. Where with the creative engine of Fortnite, I have all the tools to make it. I just didn't have the memory space to make it because the magic fire, where I was like in the previous little paragraph there, I'm like, oh, there's magic runic smoke rising. Well, I mean, that is magic runic smoke, but costs just a little bit. Ooh, just a tiny bit too expensive to make the entire structure. So, as I said, you need to use your imagination just a little bit, but I made some of it, so you kind of get the idea when I was explaining. But yeah, that's what I had. Anyway, back to the vault. The presentation ends. Now posit to me that such an event and new area is a bad idea. Heroic Leap Games.
Well, yes, it's good and all. It's really good. It's really good, right? But, well, even though that's all well and good, you want us to bring back the man himself. And this man, he was locked up in here for a reason. He's in the vault for a good reason. Yes, you're right. Maybe so. And back then, I can see why. But don't get out of that seat just yet, or do for a bathroom break and a refill of popcorn, as now I am going to tell you, Heroic Leap and viewing audience, why it is now viable for him to come back. And don't worry, it's a hell of a lot shorter than the presentation, as this just goes over his talents and his weapons, which most of them can stay because they're already in the game. I.e., first off, let's do the easy things of his abilities. His abilities, they were a little broken in the past, but all three of his original abilities, the firebomb, the barrier, and the turret, to this day are still in the game. Of course, they have received several nerfs, like the barrier in particular, now being all but useless unless you are sure of yourself and you either have it as a quick moment of burst fire. Say if you're using a gatekeeper, you can throw that down and get some burst fire damage from a gatekeeper out, or just put it down to block shots while you run away and reposition it yourself. Like, due to the minimum health that it now has and the tiny 2 seconds it's active, it means it's no longer that good for a sustained fight, and that's why it's completely fine in the game. That's why it is still in the game to this day, as are the other two. So in terms of all his normal abilities, they're completely fine, and every character has been using the firebomb, the turret, and the barrier for ages now. The only difference is with the engineer, they would have slightly shorter cooldowns, because obviously there is a talent where you can say, I want my abilities to have like 5 seconds cooldown over everybody else, but considering that they still don't output that much defense or damage, that's not really that game breaking, so they're still balanced even if each one of them did have an extra 5 seconds cooldown or 5 second less cooldown because of the engineer's talent. So slam a tick on that, because all the regular abilities, they're already in the game, they work fine, so we can just slam a tick on that, we can move on. Moving on to his movement of the rocket boots and Drogos' jetpack if they decide to put it in the game. Again, with the map changes, now
with like Lost Forge in particular, or no, more Guntown. Guntown's the one with multiple floors. With Guntown in particular, this now poses no issue. Everybody keeps saying they wanted verticality, and with the rework of Guntown, Fungle, Lost Forge, and our hypothetical Steampunk Sentinel all having multiple floors of verticality, his abilities are no longer as game-breaking as they once were. So let's just say, for example, with Fungal Jungle, you're down on the floor, somebody is up on one of the rope bridges shooting down on you, but you got the rocket boots, so you can now jump up to their level. That's no longer game-breaking, because you are just equaling the height of the opponent rather than rising above the opponent. And keep in mind that if they already have the high ground, Anakin, you're not invincible. During that jump up to their level, you can still be shot dead. You can still be just like dead during your jumping animations. So you gotta make sure that you know exactly the time to jump, because the second you do, you're still going to be an open target to whoever is higher than you. And the same goes for the jetpack, which was basically just a longer heroic leap. If we take these two towers, the Twin Towers of Saruman, if we take the two towers, for example at Sentinel, if a heroic leap could get you this far, then the jetpack could get you from one tower all the way to the other towers, but it's slower because you're like myself, when you're gliding over a gap, well, a glide is not a jump, you're gliding slower, so while you'll be able to get further distances, you're still slow. So if you are running the jetpack, then I hope you know how to dodge bullets like Neo from the Matrix, because you're either going to have to use it halfway and then just drop down vertically to avoid getting shot, or again, what are you telling me? I can dodge bullets? No, I'm saying when you're ready, you won't have to. You want to be Neo and be able to dodge bullets left and right, because when your slow ass is in the air, yeah, you're slow, and a nice slow target is very easy to shoot at. So it will get you the distance, it will get you the height, but you're not invincible. So again, you're putting yourself at risk, and with the new vertical areas of Guntown, Fungal Jungle, Lost Forge, it's not that big of an issue, because people who are already on the high ground are going to be able to shoot down regardless. You're just attempting to make that risk to get onto their level. So the movement, thanks to the new areas and reworks of the old areas, are no longer an issue, and the movement abilities are no longer an issue. So put a tick on them, boom, they're easy. Weapons, however, that's another issue, and one I had many debates over, as, well, you know, ooh, what's that? You can forge a golden slug? No, that's not gonna happen. And after much back and forth with a Blue Eyes White Dragon, no, not that one, but yes, he still has 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense, we cracked the code and changed his weapons to give him things fair enough to be good, but still bad enough to make him fit in with everyone else's power level. So we need 3 weapons for the 3 elements of fire, ice and thunder. Ice we got on lockdown, which is a shotgun. Hear me out. I know what you're thinking. The shotgun is a terrible weapon. You should never pick it up, and I'm in the same boat. But the Blue Eyes White Dragon, no, not that one, reasoned it out, and for the engineer, using a shotgun talent, because obviously every weapon has a talent with their associated champion, using a shotgun talent, it could be viable for him, but no one else, which would make it fair, but again, still bad. However, first, the original weapon that is not at all busted, which is the potion launcher. And it's, once again, like all of the other abilities, remained in the game. The potion launcher was never vaulted, so it doesn't need any extra balance checks because it's already balanced. It is area of effect, but it's still not that accurate. The bullets are really slow, like dunk, oh, dunk, oh, there you go. The bullets are really slow, so they're easy enough to dodge. It has really bad range, and out of all of the locked gold weapons of the Gatekeeper, the LMG, and so on, the potion launcher is probably one of the worst gold weapons, just because of its lack of range, its slow shot speed, so it really requires no nerfs. And as for the engineer's talent, it wouldn't even make it that much stronger. Following what I've heard is the original talent, it did an extra 20% burn damage. So let's just say it burns you for 100 per second, it would be burning you for 120 per second. Which, oh good, oh boy, from 100 burn damage to 120 burn damage, that's not even all that good in the grand scheme of things. So, the first talent, it's not that great, it just is a nice little extra complement to the potion launcher, and the potion launcher, while good, is still not the best locked gold weapon, and it's been in the game because it's perfectly balanced anyway, so there's no need to balance the weapon or the talent. So in terms of his first forged weapon of a potion launcher, tick it off, that one's great, no issues there. The second is the gold shotgun, and this gold shotgun in particular will now have the ice effect, only for him. Or maybe you can give the ice effect to the gold shotgun overall, but it's his talent that's all the more important thing for the gold shotgun. And what we wanted to do with the engineer, what the Blue Eyes White Dragon, no not that one, also known as Blame Others, proposed, what he hypothesized, is that because the engineer is an inventor, and the idea of an inventor is to combine two things into one thing, like how you combine lightning and glass to make a light bulb, two different things combined into one thing, he said that the engineer should be combo based, and this is where his talent will come in for the shotgun. So, the shotgun is the normal shotgun. It's going to do a little bit of knockback, a little bit of freeze, but it's still got its absolutely terrible damage, and you should never pick it up. However, for the engineer, the talent would be any target hit by the frost shotgun would be slowed by an entire 50%, but only for 2 seconds. That sounds very overpowered, Spyro. 50 slowed by 50%? Okay, I see your face. I see you're angry. That sounds very overpowered. But hear me out. So yes, they would be slow as fuck, boy. However, the shotgun will still do shit damage, still have shit reload, and still be basically shit. But the talent makes it a lead-in, if you will, and this is how we set the two other weapons to be combo based. It makes it a lead-in as, okay, you have landed your low damage crappy shotgun shot. They are super slow thanks to your talent, and now they're an easy target, and you can chain your good weapon, let's just say the potion launcher, which does burn damage, so, you know, fire and ice, two different things, we're combining fire and ice into one thing, we're playing into the motif of combos. So let's say you have a potion launcher, you shot them with the shotgun, they are incredibly slow, and now you pull out your potion launcher, you bap them for a bit of damage, but the 2 seconds is up. They're going to start moving again. So you switch from your potion launcher back to your frost shotgun. Ding, they're slowed. Back to your potion launcher, bap them, they're up, they're about to be unfrozen, shotgun. So in theory, by alternating the two, frost shotgun, good shot, back to frost to keep them slow, good shot, back to frost to keep them slow, good shot, back to frost to keep them slow, good shot. You could technically combo someone into defeat. However, this is one hell of a huge gamble, as if they have a CC protection rune, then your talent is worthless. The slow no longer works, and you are basically running no talent whatsoever. And if that's the case, then you're wasting a weapon slot with the worst weapon in the game, aside from the assault rifle, which, you know, we could argue should just be vaulted, but you're running a non-talent because they've got CC protection, so you're running a non-talent whatsoever with a weapon that is the worst weapon in the game that now no longer has its talent. So you kind of just like, oh well damn, I fucked up. And this now makes it a high risk, high reward gambit, where it makes the importance of the CC rune all the greater. And let's not forget, of course, to pull off the combo, you have to switch to your good gun. And during your switching animation, you're not firing and you're defenseless, meaning that while majorly slowed, you're still not shooting and the enemy can be shooting a lot of damage into you. So the frost combo is already high risk due to the CC rune, but would also be even higher risk due to the fact that it requires a high skill ceiling to pull off the combo, you know, without being shot dead. I guess you could put a barrier down while you're switching to prevent the damage, but the barrier doesn't last all that long, so, and it doesn't have all that much health, so you're probably still going to get shot. So it's high risk, high reward, and it will make the skilled players feel good about themselves because they have mastered this combo. But again, a single CC protection rune could completely screw you over entirely for the entire match, because you're then running no talent and your shotgun is worthless without the talent because the shotgun is just bad. So the frost shotgun for his second weapon, his ice weapon, I can agree with the Blue Eyes White Dragon. No, not that one, because the shotgun's already perfectly balanced as is, and the talent wouldn't make it that much better because anything could very easily screw you, be it your weapon switching animation to try and get the combo working, or a CC protection rune. So you're either going to be really good, or you're going to be like my grandmother, and I'll show you how to suck eggs! Lastly, however, Thunder, i.e. the Gold Slug. Right, no, we cannot have him forge that. That's a scrap right there. It's game breaking. There is a reason why the Gold Slug is locked for a reason, and it was probably the fact that you could forge the Gold Slug that got him vaulted in the first place. So no, we cannot have him forging the Gold Slug. So now he needs a new Thunder weapon. And for this one, not only are we going to give him one, but we are going to make an entirely new one. As for the 5 seasons the game has been out, there has been nothing new really added to the games in terms of weapons. Till today, as I introduce to you Torvald's Gauntlet. Being an inventor, and our theme being steampunk themed, and fitting in with the level 50 skin that is the mechanical steampunk leather coat skin that Torvald wears, the mechanical steampunk gauntlet, well, it's quite fitting, and obviously it would be the mechanical steampunk variant because it's been designed specifically to work with the engineer and not really anybody else due to its talent and what it does in general. So here's how we built our hypothetical gauntlet, and what I think, I would agree with the way that Blame explained it to me and the way I added onto it. I would agree that it's a pretty good thing. So the gauntlet works like Torvald's gauntlet, with just slightly less ammo due to the engineer's talent. But before the talent, how it works, it's Torvald's normal gauntlet. You hold your palm out and you shoot balls of electricity, Iron Man style. Do 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 do. So you're basically Iron Man. You've got the gauntlet and you're shooting little electricity balls out of the palm of your hand at the target. It's got a fair enough fire rate, maybe like doosh, 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 like maybe once every half a second or once every second. It's got a decent enough fire rate, and it's got medium range, and it has, of course, damage drop-off. So the further you shoot, the less damage it does, because the electricity I guess you could call it energy, plasma, whatever takes your fancy, but either way, the ball of energy starts to dissipate the further it goes, so it does have damage drop off. So it's not good for long range, it's purely medium to short range, and it's got 15 shots, and if you have the gold variant, like every other gold electric weapon, it of course has the shock effect of the gold weapons. But it's only got 15 due to the engineer's oh yeah, and the damage, sorry. The damage is also incredibly low. Like, we are talking pistol damage. It's one of the lowest damage weapons in the game, and this is purely due to the engineer's talent, as it plays into the idea of, once again, the combo system for the engineer, the inventor, combining two things into one thing. As if the engineer forges a golden gauntlet with his talent on, it can cause some major chaos. But like the Frost shotgun, it can cause major chaos, providing you can activate it, of course. Once again, this talent is based around the idea of combos, and has a high skill level due to swapping between a low damage gun with an effect and a high damage gun for the damage. The talent will kind of work like the Stone Staff, or more specifically, the Stone Staff's extra damage talent, where if you hit all 3 stones of a clip, you do extra damage with the third hit that connects. However, this time it's not 3, it's 5, and it's not extra damage, it's silence. So, what I mean by silence is if you hit 5 electric orbs in a row and you successfully land all 5, with the 5th one connecting, your opponent's movement and regular abilities are reset onto a cooldown. Let's just say we get it at the very start. So if we are in a fight and you have all basic abilities and I get the 5 shots in a row off, both your regular abilities and your movement abilities will be reset, and you will have to wait the 30 seconds for them to come off cooldown, meaning that you have less movement and no bonus damage or any kind of bonus to escape, like a Poppy Bomb escape. Now, that does sound quite overpowered, but remember, that's a starting scenario. Moving to the end of the game, where we can assume that you have gold abilities, ability cooldown runes, and it's your class ability, which will give you even more cooldown if you're running that particular ability. then it's not as devastating. So say we've got the end game mage and she's got an end game mage glide, but she's got a gold glide, it's her class movement, and she's got the movement cooldown ability, and she's got a movement cooldown rune, which means she only has to wait 7 seconds for it to recharge. So it's not as devastating as it was at the beginning of the game. And, once again, a CC rune would negate the silence. So, oops, that's a high risk, high reward. And, of course, to keep the talent balanced, that's why it had bad damage. Because, yeah, you can silence somebody, but it's not really going to mean anything if you're doing basic pistol damage. You need another weapon to chain it up with. And, of course, if you are, for example, engaging with somebody around the middle of the game, let's not say right at the beginning, but not right at the end. If you're engaging somebody right at the middle of the game, while you might think it's great to silence them and run at them, you don't know what abilities they have. They might still have all greys, they might have a grey and a gold, they might have all purples, they might have a few greens. You don't know what abilities they have, so you've got to treat every fight as if they've got all gold abilities that are all on 10-second cooldowns. So the second you know the silence has connected, you have to run in and engage fast. But if you are running in, while it's true that they don't have abilities, they still have a gun to shoot you with, and the gauntlet is not doing any damage. You need to switch to a high damage gun, and during the switching animation, like the frost shotgun, during that switching animation, you're not shooting, you're exposed, and they can still shoot you dead. So again, like the frost shotgun, in theory, you could be like, gauntlet silence, good damage, gauntlet silence, good damage, but if they have CC protection, it doesn't mean anything. If you're not good at switching, it doesn't mean anything. The time that you are switching, the switching animations themselves, you are wide open to attacks. So again, it's very high risk and very high reward. And also, keep in mind that the silence is purely for the engineer. So even if you pick up a gold warrior, don't think, Mr. Warrior, you can just go silencing everybody. Like, unless you have the talent, it's a bad weapon, and you shouldn't pick it up. And it was balanced, or the idea of the gauntlet is that it's balanced specifically for the engineer. Like, if you get it at the start of a match, if you get it, like, in your first chest, I mean, that's pretty lucky. You have still got a gold pistol. You are still gonna do enough damage at the start of the match to get a kill or two to go forge. But if you're not the engineer, then you will want to get rid of the gauntlet as fast as possible. Like, just get your class weapon and shard it, because outside of the engineer, the gauntlet is pretty much worthless. So it is balanced in a good way, or at least we think it's balanced in a good way. Obviously, all these are purely ideas, and you can come up with your own ideas, and you could say, hey, well, I like the idea of the combos. Like all the people in the round community, you can say, hey, I like the idea of the combo system. I like the idea of having to swap weapons and having this new, more unique playstyle for the engineer, but I think you're wrong on some of the things. Like, I think maybe the gauntlet should do more damage, or maybe I think that the frost shotgun should do this, or maybe that. Like, there's still room for discussion, even with these hypotheticals, because we didn't think of everything. You're right, you might say, well, what if, and this one's just come to my head, well, what if, like, somebody hits like, say you got a mage on your team, let's say you're playing in squads, what if you've got a mage on your team with Thunderstruck, where an opponent will take 30% more damage from being hit with Thunderstruck So you could hit them with Thunderstruck, then you could hit them with the Gauntlet for a silence. So they're both silenced and have got damage increase, and somebody's also shooting at them. And they've got no abilities to get away because you silenced them. That's just a recipe for like people hating everything. And yeah, that is a specific scenario for squads that would certainly need to be thought about and certainly need to come into balancing issues. But in terms of like purely single player playing, the combo based system and the way that both the new Frost Shotgun and Torvald's Gauntlet would work, I'd say is fairly balanced, because we give it a power, but then we said, oh, it's still got shit damage, it's still got damage drop off. We've kept two aspects of the gun back to make one aspect shine, because obviously if all three aspects shine, like the golden slug, it gets locked away in a chest and is a very rare weapon, and something that shines in all three areas is an item that can't be forged. That's why the golden slug can't be forged, that's why an LMG can't be forged, because it has decent accuracy, decent range and decent damage. Like, I understand why an LMG can't be forged, I understand why a golden slug can't be forged. So in order to make both the Frost Shotgun and Torvald's Gauntlet work, we give it one really good area, and then we said, oh yeah, but it's still got shit range, it's got damage drop off, it's got bad damage overall, but its talent can be good. And the talent plays into the whole combo idea of you use the bad gun with the good talent, and once the good talent activates, you then change to the good gun, and you alternate between the two, because the inventor combines two things into one better thing, which is combining a good talent on a bad gun with a good gun with no talent to create a combo of a good talent and good damage. So you're combining the two. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'd like to hear what you all think of those ideas. It obviously took a while to make, and by the end it was just like, oh man, describing these talents to what other people give me and what we all discussed, it was a bit weird just trying to like balance them all out and say like, yeah, these are a bit what's name, but yeah, that's the end. I've give you all the base information. You know, if you like it, why don't you tweet it to Heroic Leap? Why don't you tweet it to High Res? Maybe they'll bring him back. Maybe they'll like the ideas and bring him back. I'm not specifically saying that they'll do the full event, but would be nice. And you know, everybody said they liked the engineer. Everybody wanted him back. But yeah, that's the end. It was a bit of a long video. I'm sorry, but there was a lot of information to get out. But anyway, I'll leave you all now. I will leave you all now, and let me know what you think down below. And yeah, thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, do please feel free to leave a like. It does help me out. If you want to see more content and you have any other suggestions, and I might do them, hit the subscribe button and bing the bell. I don't even know if the bell works because YouTube's taken away the ticks, taking away everybody's verification ticks, always changing some every week. But yeah, bing the bell as well just in case. And I will see all of you in a bit. I'll see all of you later. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.